Everybody. Welcome to the first episode of my new series, currently titled Mr. Black's True Hollywood Tales. Uh, that's no working title right now until I get something better, but for now, we need a title so that way I can start doing these. Basically, the point of these videos is basically stories about my time while living in California. I lived out there between 1991 and 2016, except for a couple of times I went in back and forth between there and here in Indianapolis. So I have like a lot of stories to share. I made a post about doing a video like this on Facebook, and a lot of people seemed interested in me doing this. So here we are. We're gonna start these, see how they go. I have a lot of shit that happened to me during that time, so I have a lot of material for videos. So I figure, why not? Let's give it a shot, shall we? Um, I had different ideas for subject matter about where to start at for these videos, and then I realized the best thing to do probably for this very first video is to literally start from the beginning. So, as I said, I'm born and raised in Atlantic City, New Jersey. In about at around 1990, I had moved to Philadelphia and lived out there for a while. But I went back and forth between Philadelphia and Atlantic City, New Jersey. Um, Met a girl out there that I used to hang out with a lot. I really had like a serious crush on her and everything. And we talked about like Los Angeles, and I wanted to come to Los Angeles eventually anyway because I wanted to do the rock star thing. I wanted to start a band, everything. I'm 18 years old and stupid, so anyway, one day we're talking, and she's like, "Hey, I'm going to LA." I'm like, "Okay, when?" She's like, "Well, I already got my ticket." So I'm like, "Well, why are you gonna go out there by yourself? How about I go with you?" And she was like, "I'll be fine. And besides, I already have the ticket." So she's like, "If you want, you go out there. You can meet me out there." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." You know, I'm, in retrospect, this girl was not really into me. So, but at the time, I thought, and honestly, like I said, I wanted to go to LA anyway. So I saved up some money, bought my ticket, packed up some stuff, and headed out. It was a long trip, leaving from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to come to Los Angeles, California. And it was probably like a 4-day trip, something like that. This is in 91. Yes, I realize I'm showing my age. I know. Yes. But anyway, the trip over was, well, on one hand, it was great because I saw things I never saw before. I saw all these amazing sights. In the same breath, it was ridiculous. The buses were over fucking crowded. I mean, the bus systems is a little bit better nowadays than it was fucking 20 some odd years ago. Cause fuck, man. And I remember, actually, we were going through. We were getting closer, and I was going through Vegas. It picked up this one guy. Oh my god, he was so fucking drunk. He could barely walk on the bus. And guess where he sat? Guess who he sat next to? Can you guess? So here I am, next to this drunk asshole. First he's kind of talking shit for a while. I kind of ignore it. Then he starts passing out. Starts doing the Mortal Kombat woozy thing. He's leaning on me. I can't. I had to keep pushing him off of me Because he keeps passing out. He just wants to lay on me. I'm like, dude, get the fuck off. You know, this drunk guy keeps falling on me and falling on me. I keep pushing him off me. And eventually I push him enough to where he just kind of slumps all on the other side of the seat. Eventually, he falls out of his seat into the middle aisle, ass up in the air. And he rode the bus like that until the next stop, which was probably 3 hours later, something like that. So yeah, that was a fun experience. Now, me being the dumbass that I was at 18, and at 18 years old, most of us are dumbasses. I realize there are exceptions to the rule. There are some intelligent fucking 18-year-olds out there. I'm not saying that there isn't. But I'm talking about the majority of us who at 18, we're fucking stupid. Okay? Now, let me backtrack a second. I saved some money, but not a lot. Because I wanted to hurry up to get out to Los Angeles to meet this girl. You know? Also, okay, check this out. People are going to be laughing at this probably, and you have every right to do so. I had a plan set in my head of how I was going to do things when I got out to Los Angeles. I figured, well, when I get out there, I don't have a place to stay. See, I'm thinking, by the way, LA is kind of set up like Atlantic City, you know, because I know that they have beaches and oceans out there. So I'm figured to set up the same fucking way as Atlantic City, where, you know, everything is right there. I didn't realize how large Los Angeles and California in general was. So, my plan, when I got to Los Angeles, I was like, okay, what I'm going to do, I might have to sleep on the beach for a while. And, you know, while I'm there, I'll probably find me a job at some bar or a local club somewhere where, you know, cleaning up and everything. And that way I'll be able to save up enough money. I can just get me a small little room or apartment somewhere. And then during that time, I can meet people and start a band up. This was my plan. 18 years old, going across state, going to a place I've never been to before in my entire fucking life. This was my plan, y'all. Was I in for a rude awakening? So, finally get to Los Angeles. Finally. What I didn't realize, I was going to downtown Los Angeles. See, living in Atlantic City, it's like I said, it's all one area. It's kind of like a downtown itself, I guess, so to speak. You know, Atlantic City doesn't... Well, of course, keep in mind, I haven't been in Atlantic City since 1991. So, I guess there wasn't exactly a specific downtown area of Atlantic City, I guess. I guess the middle of the city, so I guess sort of. So I was used to downtown Philadelphia. So I didn't realize that concept for some reason coming out to Los Angeles. So I ended up being in downtown LA. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm here. All right, so let me walk out here and just head for the beach then. So I step out and I'm walking. Streets are looking a little scary. I don't know which way I'm going. I mean, I'm paying attention to streets. So this is one thing, though, where I'm not stupid, even then. because I did this even living in Philadelphia. I never really got lost in cities because I always paid attention to landmarks and I try to remember street names, but more so the landmarks. That way I always figured out my way around. It only took me like a month to figure my way around, Center City, Philadelphia, and North Philly, where I was living at, and everything. So, I mean, I didn't get lost in downtown LA. Well, I kind of was lost in the sense that I didn't know where the fuck I was, but... So, I'm walking around, and I'm trying to ask people if they knew where the beach, which direction the beach was. And I was getting people to say, like, I don't know. And then I ran into, people that didn't speak English, and they didn't quite understand what I was saying, and then they were kind of looking at me like, I don't know. In retrospect, I realized probably how ridiculous I sounded walking through downtown LA asking people, hey, where's the beach at? Where I go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Beach ain't even over here. So after a while, I was like, okay, it's getting dark. And I'm like, it's getting a little scary looking. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to walk around here. So the only thing I knew, the landmark I knew, I went back to the Greyhound station. I couldn't figure out my way, back and everything. I'm not figuring my way. Okay, I'm stumbling on my words here. I found my way back to the Greyhound station easy, but I couldn't figure out where the hell I was going. What was I gonna do? I'm like, this is a little different than what I was expecting. So yeah, I spent 2 days basically living in the Greyhound station, And I was just surviving on scraps, basically, I could find. Which is a foretelling of my future in LA, honestly. Digging in the trash to survive. That will be another story. But yeah, I spent 2 days there, and I'm freaking out. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. It's like, what have I done? Where I don't even know where the fuck I am. And so this one punk dude, he walks up to me because he just got off the bus and everything. And we're talking. It's like, hey man. It's like, hey, how's it going? Everything. We're talking. I explained to him what happened. Everything. He's like, and I explained to him why I came out, what I wanted to do, and everything. And he's like, oh, you know what? You're not in the right area for that, man. It's like, the beach is nowhere near here, but, for what you want to do, you want to go to Hollywood. I'm like, oh. I thought this was all one thing. He's like, no, it's pretty big out here. So he bought me a bus pass for, well, what was in the RTE bus, which is now the Metro now. And, I had a bus pass, with, with the transfer and everything. Left downtown LA, and we end up in Hollywood. And as we're driving through, and I'm seeing it, I was like, oh, okay, well, because some things looked familiar, because you gotta understand, 18 years old, growing up, everything that I knew about Los Angeles and Hollywood was from TV and movies, and maybe some music videos. Once again, 18 years old and stupid. I'm not even denying the fact that I was a dumbass. So, yeah. Anyway, it's like, yeah, I was like, anywhere you want to get off here, that's fine. This is where you want to be. I'm like, cool, thank you. I got off the bus. I think I saw him like maybe once after that, like maybe months later or something. I don't remember. It's been a long time. So I get off that bus with my I have my little bag and everything. I have like one little red roll bag I had stuff in. And I'm fucking starving. I had no money. I was in actually the West Hollywoodish area. I was down Sunset Strip, just past what was called Rock and Roll Ralph's back then. You know, explanation for you people that are on the Midwest East Side, Kroger. Over on that side, it's called Ralph's. So, and look at around Sunset past La Brea. So I got off in that area, and I walked down for a little bit, and I'm seeing this stuff finally. It's like, oh, okay, I'll recognize this. Oh, I seen that, Saw a Guitar Center, and I was like, okay. I felt a little more confident, I guess, for some reason, because I saw a Guitar Center. I was like, but I was fucking hungry. So, I decided, you know what? I have an idea. I'm gonna do like a little mini yard sale thing. So I brought stuff with me. I had a whole bunch of, I had like a buttload of cassette tapes with me for my Walkman because I was listening to music on the way over. I also had some weapons with me too, because once again, stupid, but not quite that stupid. I had like this survival knife and I actually had throwing stars. I had fucking throwing stars that I had with me since I was a kid. It was like when I was a kid, back when the ninja craze was really big in the 80s. There was like a store in Atlantic City I used to go to, when I'm like 15, 16 years old, and I could buy ninja stars there, or I would order them from the back of like a Black Belt magazine catalog. This place called, usually from like a place called Asian World of Martial Arts. So I had all these throwing stars and stuff. And I decided I set up like a little area. I was sitting right in front of like the guitar, like the wall by Guitar Center and everything. Set up the stuff to sell, selling my tapes and selling my ninja weapons, man. I'm glad a cop didn't roll by, because I believe at the time, and I think still, throwing stars are illegal in Los Angeles. I don't know if they still are now, but I'm pretty sure they were then, actually. Because they wouldn't, because I remember seeing ads when you order those that they didn't ship to like California and Maryland, like stuff like that for throwing stars. And here I am sitting on the street in West Hollywood on Sunset Strip trying to sell my shuriken. I'm selling rock and roll and shuriken right here, brothers. Come on down. So this one rocker dude, he came by and he bought some tapes and he bought the throwing stars off of me, which is probably a good thing, so that way I didn't have them sitting on me. Actually, he bought the knife too, actually, thinking about it. So he did me a favor in the sense that he got those before I got in trouble for walking around carrying that shit. But we talked for a while and everything, so yeah, it was cool. And I was telling him what I came out there for, and he was just telling me be careful and everything. So I made enough money. I went, got me something to drink for the first time in a couple days, except for water fountain at that downtown LA Greyhound station. Which, by the way, for people who don't know, it's like that was another thing. I was like a click for me, because like as a kid, I remember that fucking Guns N' Roses song, that One in a Million song, when he talked about being at 6 in LA, and I was on 6 in LA there, so I was made a connection, Fuck other parts of that song. A lot of you may already know about that, if you've listened to the song before. And fuck Axl Rose. But anyway, never mind. This is not about that. So, I made enough. I got something to drink. I believe it was a Coke. And I actually bought a loaf of bread and a pack of bologna. And I had a bunch of sandwiches. And it was great. It was like, it was just bread and bologna, but I was like, the best I've eaten in days, So it was like, fuck yeah. So I'm walking around, and also just remembered, little key point here, the guy that bought my ticket for the bus and was riding the bus with me up until I got, up to the Sunset Strip, had told me if I walked further up, I would get to Hollywood Boulevard. So, remembering that, I decided, okay, well, let's do some exploring. Walked up, I walked up La Brea. Or maybe it was La Brea, or was it Fairfax? It might have been Fairfax, actually. Either way, I walked up Fairfax up to Hollywood. For people who live out there, it's like residential area, because I was just heading towards what would be Laurel Canyon when you go over to the valley, which going down was Crescent Heights. Yeah, I still remember this stuff. So I went up there, and when I got to Hollywood Boulevard, I made a right, and I walked down a little bit, and once I hit La Brea, I started seeing all the lights and everything, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I was looking for. Alright, that wasn't down where I was at. This is where I wanted to be. Great. Awesome. So I'm just like walking the streets, exploring the place, I'm just like amazed, because